The following program is made possible with the support of Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. With 5 locations in the Wilmington area, Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients. Always had them, always will. Wilmington International Airport. Committed to a relaxed, enjoyable flying experience. Now offering daily nonstop flights to Charlotte, New York, and Philadelphia with American Airlines, and Atlanta with Delta. Details at flyilm.com. Ruby Tuesday at Monkey Junction, featuring uncompromising freshness and quality and gracious hospitality. Ruby Tuesday at Monkey Junction, the perfect place for your next casual dining experience. And PortCityDaily.com. You can do without the paper, but you can't do without the news. PortCityDaily.com is your online local news source for Wilmington and the surrounding Cape Fear region.
Hey football fans, welcome back to Sports Roundtable, a fresh edition of our weekly show talking with all 4 of the New Hanover County High School football coaches. It's been a football season like no other for sure, with all these weather delays and cancellations, flooding across the area, school closures. We finally got back to high school football this week. In a quick recap, I believe it's week 7 into week 8 of the high school football season. Last night at Legion Stadium, Jurgensen Gabriel Field, the highly anticipated matchup between the New Hanover Wildcats and the Hoggard Vikings. The Wildcats used a big day in all facets of the game to pick up a 30-13 win over Hoggard. Burke Estes, the senior quarterback, threw for 250 yards, a touchdown, hit 6 different receivers in the ballgame. Traquan Age had a 42-yard touchdown run and a 95-yard kickoff return to put the game away. Lamont Howard for the Wildcats also with 6 catches for 122 yards. New Hanover 1-0 in conference, 4-2 overall. We'll catch up with Coach Earl Smith in just a second. For Hoggard on the other side of the ball, sophomore Josh Jones got a majority of the snaps last night at quarterback for Coach Craig Underwood. Hunter Louthan, the big tight end for Hoggard, had 6 catches in the setback. Caleb Kuhn hit 2 of 4 field goal attempts, and Hoggard fell to 1-1 in conference, 3-4 overall heading into their bye week. Back on Thursday night, North Brunswick defeated Ashley 13-7. The Screaming Eagles will play home against Topsail coming up on Friday, and Laney and South Brunswick will actually play tonight down in Boiling Spring Lakes due to the closures in the Brunswick County school system. So Laney will actually play 2 games in the course of 3 days if everything holds true for the next week, as Laney will play South Brunswick tonight, and then they'll entertain the New Hanover Wildcats on Friday in Bucktown. So with all that said and all the recap from Week 7 of the high school football season, that'll bring us to our first guest, New Hanover coach Earl Smith. And Coach, congratulations on the big win last night over Hoggard.
Thank you, Joe. It was our first true full game. I think we played great for 4 quarters. In the other previous 4 games, seemed like in the 3rd quarter we would have a letdown. But total game for us, kicking game, offense and defense. Yeah,
you had a big kick return from Traquan Age, as I mentioned, and defense with a turnover, able to stop a good Hoggard run game that was averaging some 200 yards per game. And then on the offense, it seemed like it was clicking on all cylinders for you last night.
Absolutely. Defensively there, we held them, those 2 field goals. I think we got a piece of one of them, and they missed the second attempt. So big for our defense to get, to keep them out of the end zone.
Well, there were a lot of highlights at Legion Stadium last night, as he mentioned, in all facets of the game. So let's take a look, and you can take us through. And this is, I believe, right in the opening kickoff to start the ball game.
Yeah, Wisdom Vaughn does a great job here. We get some good blocks up front, hits the seam there, and gets us to the midfield, which is a great field position to start the game. Lamont, who had a big night, great blocks up front by our wideouts. Garrett gets us down inside the red zone. Little screen to Garrett from Burke. Picks up a big first down here. Gets us down in good field position. Our kicker, Josiah Eason, 2nd week in a row, kicks a field goal. Just a big weapon to have. Puts us up 3-0. get points on the board and ate up some clock there also.
That double screen to Garrett was on a 2nd and 15, so a big conversion for you.
Defense, like I said, played great all night. Got a little push there, but the thing I'm pleased with, we're flying around, we're team tackling, playing great defense, total defense. Again, a great throw from Burke to Garrett. Pick up another first down. Inside the 5 here. Javion Hill puts it in. He's just been kind of our solid runner up the middle all year. Good pursuit here by the defense. That's what I'm talking about right there. Just great flying around and playing with enthusiasm. And unbelievable. This was a big, I think, changing point in the game. Nigel Hines, our sophomore, picks one off right here. Just a great effort. He had a really good night defensively. Another little one of our screens. Lamont having another big first down pickup there.
A lot of big passing plays in the game last night.
Yep. Nice throw from Burke to Garrett. Post route for the score.
I think they were so weary of that little dump pass out on the wide receiver screen that they kind of just left Garrett open there.
Right. Again, good. There's a sophomore, Nas Brown, had a great night. This is our kicker, Harrison Hardy, and he does a great job here. He kind of gets away from the kicker, gets a great roll, pins him deep. Again, our kicking game was important, really important to the outcome of the game. Again, good pursuit. That's Ketwan Hill, one of our senior defensive ends. That's our junior defensive lineman, Jemias Williams.
He also had a tip ball too today in the game too.
Absolutely. I believe this might have been the one that got tipped. Yep. Big play there. We turn the ball over on the next series and get back in the same situation, but cause them to miss another one. Nice job here sniffing out the screen by our senior Josh. Almost a pick by Nas there. Broke it up.
He's all over the place.
Give him a 4th down coming up. Yeah. Here's a big run by Trey. Just a great explosive, good speed.
Yeah, once he got through that second line of defense, it was pretty much a lot of green grass in front of him.
And this is the kickoff return. Hoggard had just scored their first touchdown, and I think they cut it to 10. And this was huge here. Get some good blocks up front, and then again, Trey gets in space. Good blocks right there. Freddie Taylor giving a good little block right there. Almost getting another one. That was
yeah, just
big turning point.
An explosive guy for Traquan Age. He did not get much playing time back on Monday. The last time he played due to a shoulder injury,
right.
And just played in one series in that game, from what you said. And from that, what he brings to the table in the field for you is unquestionable. A big playmaking ability.
Absolutely.
With that said, Coach, you moved to 1-0 in conference, 4-2 overall, I believe, and that's an important game and a rivalry matchup that typically, or since the conference realignment is now played in the first week for you in the conference schedule, used to be the last game of the season, which kind of really told the tale of where you would seed in the playoffs. So now you're kind of in the driver's seat. So I'm assuming that the message heading into Friday's game is that, it's important that we got that win, but Friday is just as important because now we're the team with the X on our back.
Yeah, we've got 2 days to prepare for Laney, and it's going to be different because you have to be real careful with your practices, and we've got a lot to do. And we emphasized all year about taking each game one at a time and focusing on them. So hopefully we'll be ready to go Friday.
I know you talked a little bit about, we talked a little bit about off the stage, the fact that, what the injuries were and how everyone was sorting it out with the soreness and potential, for playing Friday. So all the guys, it seem like they're in good health and ready to go?
Absolutely. I had them weightlifting this morning, and everybody's in good spirits. Just a few things that, I think a couple days will help, heal them back up. So we should be good to go.
And they're still 16 to 18-year-old kids, so don't have those achy bones like we have. All right.
They're resilient.
New Hanover coach Earl Smith, the Wildcats, with a big 30-13 win over Hoggard last night on Jurgensen Gabriel Field at Legion Stadium. We'll take a quick break here on Sports Roundtable. We'll catch up with Hoggard coach Craig Underwood and Ashley Screaming Eagles football coach Jeff Turner right after this quick break. Hey football fans, welcome back to Sports Roundtable, our weekly look across New Hanover County high school football. And our next guest is actually a first-year coach Jeff Turner. The Screaming Eagles played all the way back on Thursday against North Brunswick, had to go over the river for the second time in, I guess, 2 weeks, and fell to the North Brunswick Scorpions 14-7 or 13-7 in a game kind of that was a hodgepodge of weather delays, and actually the Screaming Eagles have played in 4 different games that have been either postponed or rescheduled due to the weather conditions, as I mentioned earlier. And a football season has been kind of like no other because of those weather conditions that we've seen. With that said, Coach Turner joining us on stage right now. And Coach, tough setback for you against North Brunswick. Obviously a lot of moving pieces to this whole season for you. I wanted just to share some thoughts as we kind of head through the midway point of the year.
Yeah, I mean, going into Thursday night, it wasn't planned. We didn't know what we were going to do, and they gave us a sort of a Thursday or Monday. Our weatherman was right, and he said Monday's not going to go, and we didn't want to go into the next week and have 2 or 3 days. So sort of bit the bullet, went Thursday with a day of preparation, which we had really no choice. But we're making great progress, and as painful as it is, believe me, it's painful. We understand it, but it's a process, and we're making great steps to where we need to be. And the support has continued to be really, really strong, and we're building off each, and we just got to keep fighting and keep getting better. And later, all this adversity will turn into positive. It's just a matter of time. And as frustrating as it is, probably more for me than anybody, it hopefully will turn sooner than later, and it will be in time.
All right, with that said, we'll take a look at some of the highlights against the North Brunswick team with a lot of talent, a lot of speed on the field for them. And with that said, I think the Ashley defense stood up to the task for most of the night.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're getting better, and North Brunswick, really well-coached team. They have some really all-state track kids out on the perimeter that are, if they get in the open, you're not going to catch them. And so they did a great job, and defensively we just played strong and did our job. And we were down in the red zone a few times, and we just couldn't capitalize 4 times, and that was disappointing. And we just need to find a way to capitalize on that. And we're hitting a lot of adversity. One of our coaches, through personal reasons, could not make it there, who was actually calling some of the plays, and it sort of is playing with us this year. But we just got to fight through it. And credit to North Brunswick for coming in on their Thursday night and winning that game.
We were able to get the run game going a bit there on the defensive side. Obviously, DC Russ, a guy to keep an eye on. Russell Corbett, the big guy in the middle as well.
Yeah.
Done some big things for you so far this year.
Yeah, DC's done a great job, and Russell, they're just getting better, and they're starting to understand what we want to do. And we're still making mistakes too. There's still a lot of room to learn and to get better. So, again, that's a process, and I believe every month and every year, hopefully we can continue to gain from that.
One good thing I like to see is Caleb Parker back there at the quarterback position back. It looks like he's healthy.
You know what? He's playing, but he's still playing sore. It's just one of those things it's one of those injuries that's not going to go away until the season's over. And he's toughed it up, and like some other of our guys, they're toughing it up, and they are not 100%. But they're doing good. There's Bradley Plyler, sort of on a good play there. I was hoping he was going to stay in bounds, and sort of marked him out. And we just got down there, and we just for some reason we didn't capitalize on in the red zone. And if we can just do that, we're feeling a lot better today.
I don't know, to me, I just like these big dudes in the trenches clogging up some running holes there, 99, 72.
Yeah. And, Joe Barbera, he's only a 10th grader in there. We have a couple 10th graders starting there, and some kids who might be playing JV, and another team that are playing varsity now, and which is good because at least you get to have them again. But they are young. To have a 10th grader starting is something that usually doesn't happen, and it's good in one way and tough in another. But here's a great play by DC. Stop him in the backfield.
To be able to keep that containment right there.
Yeah,
The defensive
he's quick.
Position.
He's very quick. I wouldn't trade him for anybody right now. He fights. There it is, DC and Malik McCutcheon on that tackle. And they hung in there, made some mistakes, but we just got to keep plugging. And I hate even to watch this again right now because we're sort of going into our next week, because today is obviously right into our next week. And we really have to move on. And, as painful as the growth is, it is there. And hopefully we can capture.
Well, each week it seems like the defense continues to keep you in the ball games, just waiting on that offense to kind of catch up to how the defense has been playing.
And that's true, and that's what we're trying to do. And again, there are a lot of young people and a lot of issues with whether it's injuries, and again, that's how the game goes. That's how you have to play it, and so other guys got to step in. But there's a lot going on with that needs to be cleaned up, and that may take a little time, but we'll get it. A little QB sneak by Caleb, get first down there, and ends up getting about 8 yards, 7 yards.
We just saw Caleb with a nice little pitch and catch there through the air as
well.
well.
Caleb to DC Russ, I believe it was, and I think this is a pass to Alex Brooks right here on a little out. Alex makes a nice catch. They get a penalty at the end of this, out of bounds hit.
But showing some great mobility, I thought. Number 3 in the quarterback position, able to roll out of the pocket there and throw an accurate pass.
Yeah, we need to be more consistent at it. We're not doing it enough. Some of our mechanics in our offense are not right, and there's just a daily workload that we have to do with offense, and we have to figure out a way to get through there and score some. We've showed it through the years that we can do it, and our immaturity sort of sometimes catches up with us with that, and hopefully we can overcome that. We're trying like heck.
Well, with that said, you have had a couple of days to kind of work out the soreness and some injuries, and it seems like each week you're either going to play in a couple of days span or you're going to have a week and a half to prepare. This week you get a Topsail team on your homecoming night, a winnable game for you, I think, and as you approach the next couple of days of practice following all these school closures and whatnot, what's it going to take for the Screaming Eagles to come out with their second W this season?
We just got to do, follow through and make those times we're in the red zone and offensively score on points and just keep playing really good defense, and get excited because this is a game. I think that the first game we've had. Now we haven't had a full week of practice, but I think it's the first Friday. I don't remember playing on Friday night in a long time, so it's nice to be back to doing that. And God willing, we'll be able to do it depending on the weather. Now they, hopefully. We won't get lightning or something like that.
Well, lastly, I guess we can just comment, so much goes into the preparation of getting a football team ready to play. An athlete's mindset is often something on a schedule as they're used to doing things consistently. You go to practice after school, you play games on Friday night. So that's been a bit of an unusual thing this whole season with 4 games that have been kind of rescheduled due to the weather conditions. So it's been some challenging times for Ashley, this team, this time around, on top of it being your first year as the head coach.
Yeah. Well, especially with a young team that is sort of fragile in the way that really hasn't had a whole lot of success. So it messes with them at that also because they're not mature where you want them to be able to fight through that. A seasoned team, can fight through some of that and be okay for it. A team that's just learning how to do things, whether it's practicing or playing a game, it's tough on them.
Well, the Ashley Screaming Eagles will get back on the football field Friday night, homecoming out in Monkey Junction as they take on the Topsail Pirates. Coach Jeff Turner, always a pleasure, sir, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you very much.
Again, I'm Joe Catanacci from the Sports Roundtable. We'll take one quick break, and we'll get back to Hoggard coach Craig Underwood right after this. Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Roundtable. My name is Joe Catanacci as we wrap up tonight's edition of the show. Thanks again to our previous coaches, Earl Smith of New Hanover High School and Jeff Turner for stopping by earlier tonight. We'll wrap up the show this evening with Hoggard coach Craig Underwood and coach, obviously a tough loss yesterday, 30-13, but the game I thought was a lot closer, obviously, than that score. You were in the game to the fourth quarter, and the midway point, a long kick return basically sealed the deal for the Wildcats. But with that said, I think there are some things, positive things to take out of the game, and some things, obviously, that you can learn from heading into your bye week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I felt like our run defense was still very strong. Unfortunately, our pass defense was not. We still, we're working on that every week. Secondary that just doesn't have a lot of experience, and they're learning. They're working hard, and they do some good things, but we just got to get more sound in that aspect of the game. And then, offensively, we're moving the ball. It's just punching it in. I mean, we have multiple opportunities in the red zone that we weren't able to finish, and that's something we got to build off of.
Well, as we look to some of the highlights from last night's game, a couple of guys stood out on the defensive side, Will Kandare being one of those, and then here offensively, obviously, see a nice rollout pass to Hunter Louthan for the touchdown.
Yeah. Josh Jones in at quarterback there. We worked both Sasser and Jones last night. Hunter's a huge part of our offense. He's our offensive captain, so glad to get him a touchdown in such a big game. He's a great leader for us. Here's Caleb Kuhn coming through again. We had a little bit of field goal operation issues last night. But he did connect on two for us. So good job getting on the board. But it'd be nice if we could punch in the end zone. Kick return team, we got Evan Allegray back on the kick return for the first time this season. He's been battling injury, so he's really got the best wheels for us. Nearly creases it here. We need about one more block to spring him, but still setting us up a good field position. Here we go back on the defensive side of the ball. You mentioned Will Dykes and Will Kandare. Those two guys had an outstanding night. Here you see Will Kandare coming through, Omar Jones finishing him off. I think in the first two series, Will Kandare had 4 tackles for loss. I mean, he really was playing well. So I believe this is Tony Allen. Yeah, Tony getting through the middle, nice power play for us there. Again, we moved the ball successfully. We got to be able to punch in the end zone. Good pass rush, and then Mackenzie Frazier coming up with a big interception there. Mackenzie's a sophomore defensive lineman that does some great things. Flagged us for pushing the pile there. Hey, you can't blame the kids for trying to get a couple extra yards. But here we go, Josh Jones. Again, connecting with Hunter. Louthan had a big game last night. Jones really stepped up last night. I was very proud of the way he came in and was able to just bring a little spark to the offense. Here we see Matthew Akins coming up with a big catch on 3-cut there for us. Again, Tony with a burst up the middle. Tony and Rashad, still doing a great job. Had a couple of injuries on the offensive line. We battled this week and won in the game last night that caused us to have to adjust. There you see Will Kandare working down the line again. Good pressure. Good pass rush. Jones gives us a little more of a running option, so from the defensive coordinator perspective, you got to prepare for a little more with him. So nice little dual threat that he provides. You can see that there. Here we are in the red zone. Great penetration there. You see Will Dykes. Really, our entire defensive line getting in on that one. So, here's Caleb again with his second field goal.
Plenty of distance there.
Oh, yeah, banging it through. And that was right before the half. Really would have been nice to punch it in the end zone. But again, that took it to 16-6 at the half. Great penetration there. They picked up the inside blitz, but the D-line able to, come through and make a play. Again, see us bringing pressure. We were kind of ready for the little Wildcat package with Walston at quarterback, and they only went to it once because we were able to stop it. Again, unfortunately, our perimeter defense just has to continue to improve. You see the inside run game. They until we just had to soften the box so much. They really didn't have much success there. Great job, Carson Whittaker. We moved him into a little different position this week, and he really took it on and flew around the field for us, so proud of him. Will Dykes, again, coming through. I swear, I think Will, as a nose guard or as a defensive tackle, 3 technique, I think he had about 10 tackles last night. That's pretty impressive for an interior lineman. Here's Josh working Alec Gray right on the sideline. Again, nice connection there. So, the bright spots, I mean, Jones getting a step back in. He's not had as much action last couple of weeks and stepped back into a leading role at that quarterback spot last night. As only a sophomore, he's got a lot of potential.
You told me a little bit after the game the fact that he showed you a lot over the last couple of weeks of practice, and obviously you granted him some playing time, and he took advantage of his opportunities.
Oh yeah, Bryant Sasser. I mean, he does an outstanding job. A great leader for our team, and he's really been the leader in the passing game for us. But Josh had the hotter hand last night. That's the way it goes sometimes. In my opinion, we're blessed to have 2 that can get in there and again give a defense coordinator a little something different to prepare for.
Hoggard football coach Craig Underwood. Coach, well, at least one thing, you get to give your voice a rest for a little while, and the Vikings will be able to get a little time to heal up and get ready as they head through the bye week coming up on Friday.
That's right. Just a lot of focus on fundamentals and get ready for Laney next week.
Well, Coach, we'll talk to you next week as we prepare for – actually, we'll have some players bringing in for next edition of the Sports Roundtable. So looking forward to that conversation with some of your guys as the Hoggard Vikings will head through their bye week following the 30-13 setback to the New Hanover Wildcats. Coach, always a pleasure catching up, and we'll see you next week.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
It's Coach Craig Underwood from the Hoggard football team. Obviously, we've hit 3 of our coaches across New Hanover County this evening. Our final coach out in Bucktown, Laney second-year coach Ashad Yeoman, not with us tonight because he's actually playing a football game. Friday night football has now gone to Wednesday, Tuesday, any other day of the week. So the Laney Bucks are actually down in Brunswick County tonight for a date with South Brunswick, and the Laney will actually get back on the field on Friday. So a Wednesday and Friday schedule for Laney this week as they take on South Brunswick tonight on the road, and then we'll host the New Hanover Wildcats on Friday, homecoming night in Ogden. So we look forward to catching up with Coach Yeoman next week. With that said, that'll do it for the show here on Sports Roundtable. Hope you've enjoyed all the stats, the highlights, the previews, and the commentary from all of our football coaches this evening. Until next time, I'm Joe Katz.